Good morning, world. So the last couple weeks, I've been trying to figure out how I can best showcase the build of Atlas up until this point in time. I'm gonna try to build a video that is based off of just pictures and short clips of what we've done, how we've been able to get to where we are at this point of the build. When I made the video on the walkthrough of Atlas, I tried to figure out a way of being able to kind of make a video on how we got to that point. So this video is going to be basically a bunch of clips of the entire progress from me and Liz buying the bus to where it sits right now in the backyard. This whole process that we've done, we've also taken it on trips. We've been able to go and have fun in it. The bus is not done by any means. Even if you have a bus, even if it's not complete, take it on a drive. Take it on a small road trip, disappear for a weekend in it, and just enjoy it. Take the time to enjoy just a weekend in it. See if that's even something that you might even want to do for the rest of your life, or for a year, or for 3 years, or 5 years, or whatever. So we're gonna jump right on into this. I'm gonna try to keep this part of the clip short. I don't know, I think this is probably gonna end up being probably 20 or 30 minutes. So please bear with me. I'm going to try to narrate as the pictures fly by, and we'll see you on the other side. Peace. All right, so we actually bought the bus October 2nd of 2020. We found it at Wolf Creek Bus Sales. They had it listed for $7,500. There was some damage. The rear end cap was damaged and one of the skirts was damaged. I knew I was cutting the skirt out, so I didn't really need to worry about the damage itself, but we picked it up for $6,000. We were able to get a really good deal. It was at the end of the year. Nobody was really buying buses. So with that being said, took it for a test drive. This is the height of the COVID pandemic, so we're all wearing masks right now. Bus drove great, paid them, fueled up, hit the road, made it home. At that point, we woke up the next day and saw a huge yellow bus in the backyard, realized that we had a new project to start. So the backyard's the only place that we really have the ability to park the bus. So luckily we own the house. Makes it convenient. We don't have a landlord that is going to tell us that we can or can't do anything. Started unbolting the seats. Liz was underneath, I was up top. Started with the center aisle bolts and then proceeded to the outside bolts on the rail. We were able to get one side out same day. Next day we came out, was able to get the other side out. Weather was really nice, middle of October, don't know why. It's really hard out here in the winter time. But once the seats were out, we proceeded to rip up the floor. The only really bad spot was the passenger rear corner had not even rust, it was just scale buildup that I was able to knock down. We had no bad holes, no rot, not any really bad areas except the really far back corner. So once we got the floor cleared, we were gearing up to get the ceiling pulled. Luckily, the ICs have all screw heads instead of rivets. So once we got the ceiling pulled, I have really bad allergies. So Liz took on the job of ripping all of the insulation out of the ceiling and walls because that would have affected me really bad. My allergies are just absolutely terrible. But once we got all the insulation pulled, which was a chore in itself, I think it was like 7 trash bags. The insulation didn't even cover the complete tiles. So I'm glad we took this process to get in there, remove everything, get it prepped for the insulation that we chose to go into the roof. After that, we took the vacuum to the roof, got all the remaining little bits off, and hosed the floor out. After hosing the floor out, we kind of called it a day at that point because there wasn't really anything that I could do to the inside to prep it to seal the holes from the seats. So next day I went outside, started scraping the high visibility reflective off and all of the signs on the roof, the IC signs, the stickers. All of the reflective tape came off the top half of the bus because I wanted to make sure that our roof seams were never going to leak. I chose a industrial grade elastomeric roofing tape. It's built for galvanized and steel buildings to help seal up seams. So that was the process. Right now, that was the real first day that I had up on the roof. Really, I'm a big guy, so walking around on it was kind of nerve-wracking for the first time, but started getting the elastomeric tape down, and by that time the interior had completely dried, so I shot all the holes with a rust inhibitor and then sealed it with a different grade of elastomeric tape. And then after that, proceeded to pull the windows, reseal all the windows, make sure that I wasn't going to have any leaks. You do these steps now so you don't have to worry about the interior getting damaged. Lo and behold, some of the windows, the frames were damaged, which I had pulled and replaced and resealed 3 times, and then found out that the frames were bad. So it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. And I test fitted a full-size house door on the bus. I really didn't like the way that it worked, and then the storm during the spring actually ripped the door off the side of the bus. So we proceeded to get the bus a permanent home. I parked the bus out front of the house, and then we tore out our entire garden along the back side of the property. We moved the shed to behind the house, which gave us a 75-foot stretch along the back fence that we were able to pull the garden, pull all the boxes, get the ground level. It was a nightmare. It was a chore. We had the bus parked out front for 4 days while we did this process, so it was fun. And then after clearing all the dirt, because they were raised boxes, we pushed it all up against the back because the ground kind of drops. I wanted to make sure that the gravel pad that we were putting in was going to be level for the bus, and that we weren't going to have any water intrusion on the pad. I wanted to make sure that the pad was higher than everywhere around it. That way the water can shed away from the bus. I know a lot of people, the only real option that they have is to park in the dirt and grass, but it's really bad for chassis, brake parts, and stuff. So here the bus is actually getting pulled onto the pad for the first time. It has an official home that we can park it. It's not going to be in our backyard anymore. So there's the door, the bus door we still had at this point. Like I said, we had a storm in spring where the winds got up to 85 miles an hour and ripped that door off the side of the bus. So it was quite interesting. Me and Liz ran out there. We heard a big old smash. It pushed the mirror over, and the only hinge that was still bolted to the bus was the lower one because the door was now laying on the fence. So we tarped the bus until the storm subsided, and I ripped off the remaining hinge and put the bus door back on it. Luckily we still had the bus door, so that kind of saved us. I really do enjoy the bus door, so I'm gonna try to still figure out if there is a way that I can modify ours to where we can use it. But until we get to that point, I'm not worried about it. The bus door serves a purpose right now. We can lock it at this point, so yeah. This is me for the first time backing in a 40-foot bus, other than showing up in the backyard at 10:30 at night, the night that we bought it. So yeah, it was quite interesting being able to drive something of that size. I've driven 24-foot box trucks, but I mean, even a full-size truck with a 20-foot trailer is still barely 40 feet, and you have a hinge point, so quite an experience. And so now I had a permanent home. The bus was level. My yard was dead, but it took literally 3 months for the grass to grow back where the bus used to sit. So a month and a half later, the boxes showed up. That was the next process. We actually cut the skirts out. The passenger side skirt was damaged. Somebody must have sideswiped something going around a corner in the bus during its life or whatever. So I wasn't really worried about that. I had some slight massaging of the metal to be able to get it to straighten out, but everything went in great. We used 2 propane tanks for our propane, and then proceeded to finish the roof with the Eternabond elastomeric industrial metal tape. So yeah, that was a chore by itself. I didn't realize how much I needed. I was a roll and a half short, so I had to order more off of Amazon. But all in all, we got it all finished, and it looked great. So between this time and getting the floors done, I had to pull out some of the windows again to reseal them, and then proceeded to get the insulation in the walls and the ceiling. The insulation we use is the 1.5 inch foamular pink board. It's high compression. A lot of people, they'll use foam board, high comp board, they'll use Havelock wool. Everything does a good job. It just depends on what you want to use. I like the high compression foam because it will not sag, it won't fall down in the wall after driving. It is a high dense foam, so I could use it in the floor and get the floor framing done because it will not compress, which makes it convenient. I lined out my 2x4s, so where cabinets would come out to the hallway, I had structure in the floor, so I didn't have any sag. Even if the boards failed or the insulation failed, I still had hardwood underneath the floor. And then once the subfloor was all done, I boxed out the wheel arches. All of the shavings from the foamular board went into those boxes. And then in the roof, the angled edges on the passenger and driver side, I went with 3/4 inch reflective side foam. The nice thing, so I was able to put the side facing the ceiling reflective out, and then the second stacked layer of reflective facing towards the interior of the bus. And then did the center and 1.5" foam layer. So after that, built the bed platform, got our 100-gallon freshwater tank mounted underneath the bed. Also, all of our plumbing and stuff will be going under there as well. And then we'll have a raised center platform over the rear axle that will house the batteries in the floor, which will make it convenient. A lot of people, they like to bury their batteries. I want to be able to easily access them, pull them out, replace them within 20 minutes. So at this point, I started to rough out the interior of the bus. I didn't realize that during COVID, State of Oregon states that it needs to be, it needs to have permanent cooking and permanent sleeping quarters. So I proceeded to build those in the bus because the bus needed to have an inspection done to verify it was a motorhome and no longer needing commercial certification or commercial insurance. Well, during COVID, DMV didn't care. You literally, all I had to do was show up, tell them I had a school bus that I'm converting to an RV, and bam, I got my plates. I got registration. We loaded up the bus. Once the interior was roughed out, we left. We took a weekend off and disappeared in the bus. So enjoyed the weekend, stayed in the campground. So we stayed the weekend in Beverly Beach, which is just south of where we live. It was nice. I mean, as you can tell, it's as rough can get, but we enjoyed the weekend. It was nice. It was nice getting the bus out, and a lot of people came up and talked to us about the bus. The kids just pointing, telling their parents, there's a school bus. So headed home after the weekend, which is kind of sad, but I had to get back to work. Liz had to get back to work. But yeah, the views were awesome. Absolutely loved it. And then this is year 2. This was last year. Bus windows just kept leaking, and I found out the frames were bad. So I ripped all the bus windows out, proceeded to put 12 gauge galvanized sheet metal into the side of the bus and get it prepped for double pane RV windows. I was tired of the leaks. I was tired of the water getting in and damaging the wood on the walls. This coming spring, you will see me ripping those walls back apart and resealing the walls now that I have the proper windows in the bus. But this whole process took from middle of March to the end of September. I only really get to have short little 1 or 2 days off at a time. So this took me about 4 months to do the sheet metal, to prep the metal on the cuts, to get the windows installed, to put the bracing, to weld the bracing into the vertical hat channels, being able to make sure that all of the rivet holes, the seams, everything was coated and prepped, ready. And then also getting the bus sanded. Now, when I went to start painting the bus, I took a week off because there was no way I was going to be able to do this process in a 2-day weekend. It was basically middle of September at that point. It was the best weather was ever going to get on the Oregon coast, and my friend Paul allowed me to use his property. We had just gotten gravel down up there, and it was basically an empty lot, so it worked out perfect. Sanded the bus, sanded the whole bus, got all of the sides basically down to either bare metal or roughed up. Got the clear or got the enamel paint roughed up to where the primer would stick. And then once we got the whole bus sanded, we primed it, got the primer on, then sanded all the primer. There was areas where on the roof it had like emergency exit and the IC big sticker on the front, so I also primed that as well, because when we were removing it, it did cut into the paint. So sanded all that down, primed it, and then we used Durabright for our roof coating. We chose Durabright because it is acrylic based instead of a silicone base, so if we ever need to repair it or repaint, we can just paint on top of it. With Tropical, you actually have to remove all of the Tropical to paint on top of it, so didn't want to do that. And then masked off a mountain scene and tree scene. All the mountains are mountains of the Pacific Northwest. I have Mount Hood on there, I have Mount St. Helens, I have Spirit Mountain, I have Mount Adams, I have Sisters on there. A lot of people won't know that. Just seeing the bus, it'll just look like a mountain scene, but there's just, all of the mountains actually exist in real life. And then proceeded to, with the other green, we chose Safety Green, John Deere Green, and Hunter Green as the 3 greens. The whole paint process, instead of taking a week, took almost 3 weeks, because at night it would dew up, and unfortunately stuff would get stuck to the paint. I'd have to scuff it and then recoat it in the morning so it could bake during the afternoon. Yeah, it was a chore. It ended up being 3 weeks. And then every day after work going up and cleaning bugs out of it. You would not be surprised how many bugs love the color green. But we always had bugs stuck in the paint. So once everything was painted, got it back home. It looked amazing. Just all of the colors, and then here's a quick little walkthrough of it. And then after that, we took it on another trip. I really do love the way that the bus looks now. We still have a giant vinyl that's gonna go on both sides that says Atlas.Skoolie. There's a big graphic design that I'm gonna be putting on it. So, a little heads up for you guys. And then just some more odds and ends. I pulled the front heater out, but when you pull the front heater out of the front of the bus, there's a giant hole in the floor. So sealed all that back up, and then tackled the wiring. I mean, you can see that engine compartment, or the wiring, and then after was a lot of work. So I hope you really enjoyed this, and I'm gonna get back on here. So kind of apologize through the video. This guy, Babadook, he is one of our cats. He is always meows. You probably heard him meowing a couple instances throughout the video, but he's our old man cat. We named him after the horror movie Babadook. He's a great cat. We absolutely love him. We're still trying to figure out how he's going to do life on the road as well. Yeah, that'll be interesting. He's never been in a harness. He's never, I mean, other than living at the house, he has been comfy and cozy. Thank you for watching this. Hopefully I tried to do this with fluidity, so it kind of shows the build progress as we kind of went throughout the build so far. But this will get everybody kind of caught up to the point of now, and spring is coming. We are actually today we're in the middle of a blizzard, so it gave me the opportunity to sit on here and finish this. It has taken me the better part of 2 weeks, but because I did not have to go to work today, I'm getting it done today. So I'm still gonna probably get it out on Sunday, if not Monday morning. So look forward to that. Thank you for all of those that are watching these videos. I appreciate you. My wife appreciates you. The projects are going to start to happen pretty soon. I also have a couple other hikes that I would like to show you guys in the area. So hopefully that'll be coming soon as well. Jalapeno, I still got to do a couple things on the truck to get it ready. I bought the truck because I wanted something more reliable than the Toyota to go and get building materials for the bus, because last spring, unfortunately, all of that galvanized steel I took the bus to pick up because there was no way the truck was going to move it. Hopefully with a truck that can actually haul some stuff, I can get some stuff done and video the progress for you guys. Yeah, look forward to it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching another video on the Atlas.Skoolie channel. And tell your friends, like, subscribe, comment, tell me how I'm doing. Have a great day, guys. Much appreciative, and take care.